Did these legends of Manchester United make the ultimate Manchester United eFootball squad? Well, today we're launching a brand new series where we built the strongest possible squads in eFootball, starting with Manchester United. We're picking a full starting 11 and 8 bench players based on in-game and real life. Watch until the end to see the cards we totally forgot to consider because some big names didn't make it. Let's get into it. We're going to start with goalkeepers, lads, and we have got 2 picks for goalkeepers. We've got Peter Schmeichel and we've got Van der Sar. So if you're watching the stream now, you'll see there's Peter, and here is Van der Sar. Now, we did have a little chat about this yesterday, Cranky and I. Let's ask Spenny. What do you think, Spenny? Who is your goalkeeper pick for a legendary ultimate Manchester United team in eFootball?
I think Schmeichel is the best. I mean, he gives me the most trouble, most annoying keeper to play against, and I haven't played much against Van der Sar, but I guess he'll be really good too. So if it's
Yep.
up to me, I would put Peter in the starting 11 and Van der Sar on the bench.
We will stick Van der Sar on the bench. Off he goes to the bench slot. And we're all in agreement on that one. I think we discussed it a little bit yesterday. In terms of real life, Schmeichel was so good at smothering everything and probably a more commanding presence as well. So that is a pretty obvious one. Now we're going to look at left back. And we've got 2 cards to pick from again. On your screen now, you should see Mr. Luke Shaw, a Showtime version, and then we've got an epic version of Dennis Irwin. Do you remember Dennis Irwin, guys?
I don't.
That's a no for me, dog. I was not a
You,
glint in my father's eye when Dennis Irwin was playing.
you youngsters, you. I wish I was as young as you lot. Well, I do remember him as a Premier League star in that unreal Man United team. I don't think he was all that. I mean, he was very, very good, but he wasn't like, that team, the Ferguson era. He was probably the best left back, but he had a good free kick on him. In game, what do you think of him in game?
I haven't played much against him, but I think he's great. This Luke Shaw, I haven't seen anyone who has that card.
Yeah, that was the best Luke Shaw I could find from eFootball Hub. So I'm inclined to go with Irwin, but we'll do a little vote. What do you think?
I'm going with Irwin based on stats because he's got Luke Shaw trumped on just about every important stat if you're talking in terms of left back.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, no contest. In the bin you get then, Luke Shaw. We'll keep you on standby in case we need you on the bench, but I'm not sure there's going to be space for the likes of. Pardon?
What are the rules for this? Are you doing only cards that are Manchester United, or is it past and present?
It's past and present. So yeah, Zlatan might get a look in later. We'll see. I've pre-selected the cards, so it's a little bit unfair, but I did spend a bit of time looking through eFootball Hub and thinking about the history of the club. Obviously, there's players missing. In fact, I've made a boo-boo because George Best is now in the game, and I'm not sure he made this particular list. So we'll give a special mention for those that we might have missed. So at right back, chaps, we have got controversial one, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and your option for right back is not what you want from an ultimate team, but there it is. It's Diogo Dallo, I think, isn't it? I mean, we've just got to fill the right back slot here. So, any thoughts on who we should have there rather than these 2 clowns?
I think
honestly, if it's sorry, go ahead, Spenny.
Yeah, I think Van Bissaka will have better stats, of course. Plus, he's a defensive fullback, which most people prefer. But I love Dalot in this game. I don't like him that much in real life, but I have his I think it's the player of the season pack, English League, like 1.5 year old, and it's super reliable card. I really love playing with it. One of the best cards I've used.
Interesting. And your thoughts, Cranky?
I would love to have Basaka back there because you're running a 4-4-2 in this system, and if you have Saka or Wan-Bissaka back there, excuse me, you can have Irwin kind of hang back and be a little defensive, and then you can have Wan-Bissaka overlapping our non-negotiable name at right
quicker.
mid, which is going to be Beckham. So you're going to have Beckham and Wan-Bissaka being terrorists on that right side, in my humble opinion. So there's to me, Wan-Bissaka is a no-brainer here.
And the pace factor, I think he's a lot faster. Spenny?
Oh, 100%.
Final thoughts
I
on
sent the
this
card
position?
that I have. Yeah, I think depends. If you want to just have the best team, then I would go for Wan-Bissaka. If it was a team that I would play, that I would pick Dalot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think Dalot can stay on the bench for now. We'll put Wan-Bissaka in at right back. I mean, this is obviously open to debate, and that's why we're making the video. So hopefully, someone will have a difference of opinion in the comments. We'll go with, and those two aren't, they're not what you'd first think of for a legendary Manchester United team. I'm just trying to think of players that aren't in the game that would make the right back slot. Gary Neville probably gets the call in an ultimate team if we're not going with cards. One day we'll get a Gary Neville, I'm sure, won't we, chaps? Right, let's move on to the centre back slots. And we've got a certain pundit, Rio Ferdinand. Oops. And we've got old slabhead, Harry Maguire. So let's pick between those two first, I think. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll bring on all four options. So we've got Varane and we've got Martinez. So out of those four, who would you drop into the two central defensive roles?
For me, Ferdinand, of course.
Yep, I think we can all agree on Rio taking the first slot. So we'll stick Rio in there, squeeze him in somehow. And then you're left with Varane, Maguire, and Martinez.
It's actually kind of a tough one because, I mean, Maguire is always that cult hero because of those few moments of extreme war that he comes up with. And then, I don't know. I'm going to go with Maguire just because of those, because he's got a propensity for coming up big in clutch situations.
I like it.
I would go with Varane. Maguire is a bit slow. Martinez is a bit short. And I like Varane. He's fast. His player model is good.
Okay.
But I like Maguire too.
It's nice having you two, actually, because then we get a deciding vote. So we've got a 50-50 split here. I am going to be... I'm going to be on the side of Cranky on this one, just because Maguire has done a lot for England as well, and he's more of a goal threat. And I think Varane probably had his peak elsewhere, didn't he? Or didn't really make as much of an impact as everyone thought he would have done at United. Is that fair?
Definitely. He was injured all the time.
Injury prone. So we could stick... Let's put Varane on the bench. And we'll put Maguire into that. So it's Maguire, Ferdinand, Irwin, and Wan-Bissaka that make up the ultimate defence in eFootball cards. It's controversial, but that's what we're going with. Martinez can drift away into the reserve team. And now we move on to the midfield. Are you happy to continue, chaps?
I'm happy to continue. I just like to comment. Just imagine being Harry Maguire in that center back position, getting yelled at by Schmeichel and Ferdinand at the same time. He'd be miserable. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of grief. Are you happy with the selection so far, then, Spenny? Happy to move on to midfield?
Yeah, sure.
Nice. Okay, so we do have. I think we have a similar number of slots here for midfield. Let's pull on a few of them and see where they go. We've got Epic Brian Robson. Again, you two are too young to remember Brian Robson. To be honest, even I am. I do recall watching bits and pieces of him. All-rounder midfielder, great engine, scored goals, scored headers, did all that stuff. Got stuck in, rolled his sleeves up. So for me, he's probably one of the first ones on the list. However, we do have options here. So I'll bring on a couple more. We've got a very nice looking Casemiro card, Player of the Week one. I went by potential, by the way. I sorted these by potential, and that Player of the Week one had the highest potential. Then we've also got. I'll bring in a couple more, and then we'll get your thoughts. If I can grab him. The Ginger Prince, Paul Scholes. And then another sort of central player, but a bit more attacking minded. We have Bruno. So we've got 2 slots in the central midfield. Who are we picking, lads?
I think for me,
I
a non-negotiable is Mr. Robson. I've built his card plenty of times on eFootball 26 whenever he dropped, and he's probably the closest thing that this lineup can have to a Hullet type of presence. He can do all things, and like you said, he can play 90+ minutes without a problem. And I guess kind of depending on needs of the system, I think you do put Paul Scholes up at that forward central midfield position. You have Robson kind of tailing him a little bit.
So you would be willing to put Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro on the bench?
I would. I think that would be great coming on late if those two happen to get tired for some reason or injured in this slide tackle fest that we have in this game right now.
And Spenny, thoughts?
I would put Scholes in there too, and I think instead of Robson, I would put Bruno in the starting 11.
Okay. Well, as a deciding
That's
vote again.
I like that. Bold. Bold.
I'm going to get the final say again. I'm going to drop Bruno to the bench. Sorry, Spenny. And I'm going to drop Casemiro into the bench as well. And there is the central midfield. Scholes would play a little bit more advanced, somewhere like that. And now we'll check out wingers. If you were to
I would like to drop a name for like an honorable mention for the 6th position. The John O'Shea card that they dropped a few weeks ago would be great for that actual number 6 position. So just put that out there.
That's a good shout, and that's a very interesting discussion because I think John O'Shea is one of those cards that has got a lot of love in eFootball, and he is a good card. But in the reality of watching him play for United over the years, he was very average, bang average.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's got a crazy card, but it does not match real life.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but good honourable mention, and obviously, I think there's probably tons of players that you could think of in that central role for United over the years again. I mean, even Pogba would probably get a shout, wouldn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. So maybe a Pogba card is missing from this particular discussion because he is in the game. But there's a few. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think. Who else is there that played for Man United in central midfield? Who isn't in the game though? I'm thinking of players that don't have cards.
Oh, who don't have cards? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Carrick, for example.
Roy Keane.
True.
Yeah.
Carrick.
Or Michael
He would be.
I mean, this is
manager.
This is a great exercise for any Konami officials watching because there's a ton of
Alan Smith.
Alan Smith, former Leeds and Manchester. He was more of a striker. He did drop deep later on, but he started at Leeds as a centre forward, and he was a very good one. Okay, we're going to move on to these wing slots now. I think this one is a bit of a shoe-in. If you're still watching on the stream, lads, you can see that I've just dropped a certain husband of Victoria Posh Spice into the side. Are we all in agreement on the right wing slot?
Definitely, that's a non-negotiable.
George Best in there.
Of course. Okay, yeah. This is where we mentioned the George Best card, which isn't on the graphics, but is now in the game and is sensational. I mean, again, we're only basing this on the card really more than watching him in real life, because nobody's old enough to remember him, but I've seen plenty of clips. Right, so we've decided on Beckham, and then on the left, the suggestion is Rashford on the left side. Now, we don't actually have an alternative to Rashford in the selections. You would put Giggs in there, I think. Brian Giggs was sensational. Horrible person, but great footballer.
I would put Ronaldo in there.
You'd put Ronaldo in the left wing slot.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Honourable mentions for probably Kanchelskis. I think he probably played more on the right, but he was unreal. I don't know if you guys know the name or recall anything of him. He was amazing. Lee Sharp, also very good in that spot. But yeah, we'll move on, because I think it could be Ronaldo there. We haven't seen the Ronaldo card just yet. He's coming up for the final section, where we've run out of space on the screen, but we've got. I'm going to put them in the very middle here. We've got Zlatan. We have got Dwight York. We've also got Andy Cole, Van Nistelrooy, and two more. Bit of a mess now. Rooney and Ronaldo. So we've got 6 strikers to choose from to put in those 2 attacking central forward roles. What are we going with, lads?
Go ahead, Spinny. I'll let you take the point on this one.
I'm surprised you don't have Eric Cantona in there.
Well, that's just poor research on my part. Okay. Well, in fact, what we'll have to do, I think, if we're all in agreement, is probably leave one of those slots at the top empty and just call it the Cantona slot, because I completely overlooked that for this video. I don't know. Maybe you can get Cantona on the bench, but I don't know about that. Who would be your number 1 pick then, Spenny, if you were... pick 2, including Cantona. Let's go.
I mean, Ibrahimovic is not that much associated with Man United in my head, but he's the best card out there.
Oh, sorry.
Also, I'd like to mention Dennis Law. He's super annoying to play against, and I would probably pick him.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Every single header. I'm definitely too young to see him play, but in the game, he's crazy.
Nice, yeah. Well, again, poor forward planning on my part, but Dennis Law's card is not on the screen, and he won't be coming onto the screen. Does that mean that you would go with the Dennis Law and a Cantona front 2? Bearing in mind you've got Ronaldo, Rooney, Cole, Van Nistelrooy, York.
I've never really played with Cantona, but I've played with Rooney, and that card is really good. So and then we also had Van Nistelrooy, who was great for Man United. It's tough pick.
Tough pick. Who
but
would
I
you
think
go for
the
if you
2
could
guys
pick 2?
that, if Ronaldo, I would have him on the left wing instead of Rashford. So for the top two center strikers, I would go for Rooney and Dennis Law probably.
Well, let's just put Ronaldo out on the left wing and drop Rashford to the bench. That does seem to make more sense, doesn't it, lads?
Yes.
Yeah. So your shout would be Dennis Law. Sorry, what did you say? Dennis Law. If Ronaldo's playing on the left, you would go with Dennis Law and Cantona, or Rooney.
And Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we might be in agreement on that one. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Cranky.
If Ronaldo is on the left wing, quintessential Man United legend, number 1, number 2, number 3, greatest player that's ever graced a football pitch, depending on who you talk to. He cannot be left out of that starting lineup. I do believe Wayne Rooney is going to be up at top as well. You know, Man United legend forever and always. And the other one, I'm going with Dennis Law, just because, as Spinny says, he's going to be purely the pain in the ass card to play against in this game. And if we're leaving out Zlatan, it's Law for me all day because I like to do crosses. So that's me.
Sure.
Rooney and Law up top if Ronaldo is on the left wing.
So is that 2 votes for Dennis Law? I
Yeah.
think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but there are
Oh.
so many players to pick from. We don't even have
There are.
Berbatov on the screen.
Berbatov. It's another mistake by me. A good shout there, and I'm absolutely embarrassed as a Tottenham fan to have omitted Berbatov from this selection process. But an honourable shout for him. Let's just finalise this then by saying that we have Rooney and Dennis Law as the front 2, and then we just need to fill up those 2, or we could put 3 of these strikers onto the bench. So who would you pick as the bench strikers out of what's left? Van Nistelrooy's got to be on the bench?
Well, for me, I've never seen York or Andy Cole play, so those 2 I wouldn't pick, but I believe they are very good. But I wouldn't pick them just because I haven't seen them play much.
Yep. They were phenomenal, and as a pairing, they were lethal. But yeah, we will just leave them as an honourable mention on the side. We'll put Van Nistelrooy on the bench there. So we've got Cantona and Dennis Law filling up those 2 grey slots. And I think that completes, if we're all happy, relatively, bearing in mind we missed out some absolute legends. Thank you for doing that, chaps. We'll just quickly go through it.
It was fun.
It was, yeah, I enjoyed it. Schmeichel in goal, Ferdinand and Maguire as centre-backs. The defence isn't as strong as we would think, but it is what it is with these cards. I don't think we've missed any big cards in the defensive lineup. So we've got Irwin and Wan-Bissaka at the fullback positions. Then in midfield, Robson and Scholes, Beckham on the wing, Ronaldo on the left wing, Rooney and Dennis Law up top with Cantona and these other guys filling up the bench slots. And that team is going to score a lot of goals, isn't it?
That is Fergie time embodied.